Hello, my name is Zecheng, and I'm currently working as a research assistant at University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Welcome to a pitch for my future advisor. Unlike just a cold email, I think if you can see my face and hear what I'm thinking, you can know me better. And a presentation is really important in research work because it can show my will to actually work, to be organized, to put my thoughts onto the paper. So this is today's agenda. First, I'm going to talk about who am I and why are you receiving this email because of a Purdue incident, and why should you hire me as a PhD student, and why wireless, and my moral, physical, and mental standard, and also my reference and something trivial. First of all, my name is Zecheng and I'm 29 years old. I had my BS and MS in computer science with GPA of 3.42 and 3.82, both at University of Nebraska-Lincoln. And I've also have a 4 years experience of full stack software engineer at Hancock Software with the tech stack of Microsoft SQL Server, C#, and AngularJS. I've also know the CI/CD pipeline really well with Jenkins as the automation deployment, and I consider myself have a solid software background. And recent year, I have one publication at IEEE APS 2025 as first author. My paper is about how to make sure the temperature is not very high inside the wheel of the train or the gearbox of a wind turbine. So when the wheel and the wind turbine rotate very fast, it has a friction. It can create a very high temperature, and it actually causes a lot of derailment or failure in train and also in the wind turbine. So how to prevent this from happening is that we invented a system that we can detect the temperature inside those small cavity. The way we're doing that, we're using a bimetallic strip. Is kind of like this. So when the temperature goes up, the shape will become like this. When the temperature goes down, the shape will come back. So we used a coaxial cable with a copper exposed to the air. We put it in between this two bimetallic strip, and then we can measure the reflection coefficient, the S parameter, and we can also calculate the impedance from this. And then we compare with the temperature that we measure. We are able to see a match between the trend of the impedance and also the temperature. Then we can use this to develop this into a wireless solution. Then we can know the temperature inside. Then we can make sure the security of this system. Besides this, I also like to make things. I like to use my hand. I know how to use soldering machine, and I fabricated multiple antenna PCB board using LPKF machine, and I also know how to use VNA signal generator, and I also built my personal website zechenli.github.io. Besides that, I also like sports very well. I like doing cardio. Yeah, that's about me. First, this email and this video is kind of late because I was accepted by a professor at Purdue, Dr. Chun Yi Peng, for spring 2026, but Purdue has not admit Chinese student in recent years. So my offer was holding at the school level. While I have a lot of loyalty and respect for Dr. Peng, she also encouraged me to explore other future opportunities instead of just waiting. That's why I'm reaching out to you. And I also want to mention, I want to avoid submitting any application without a realistic match or possibility, because I don't want to have any false hope, and I don't want to give those application fee for free. I completely understand if you're unable to reply me. Everybody's so busy, and if you are interested in working with me, I would greatly appreciate you can reply me. If it will take you a long time for you to decide if you want to work with me, I would also take that as a directly no, and there is no hard feeling at all. Regarding the research interest, I would like to be sincere and transparent to tell you that there is impossible for me to say, oh, I'm so much interested in your work. Your work sounds so much promising. No, I don't want to say that. It's very fake. But if you can tell me that you are interested in working with me, I would really put my time and effort into your works, and maybe we can have a video chat later about the potential collaboration. So next, why should you hire me as a PhD student? I know this title might seems a little bit too straightforward, but first, I want to publish good work. Second, I'm very mature and reliable. I stay out of trouble. I have no negative record at any stage, and I respond to your email quickly. I am very high energy person. And I'm also very easygoing and respectful. I care deeply about the things around me, but I also have a good boundaries. I always try to save your time. I'm not trying to make things overcomplicated, and I know everybody want their own time as well. Yeah. And I have never disliked the work that I do. Everything that I do, I either force myself to love it, or gradually I get used to it, and I just never hate it. My goal every day is simply come to the lab, work a little bit, and by the end of the day, feel a sense of progress and relief. And I also have a very positive mindset. I want to find solution instead of making excuses. A good example would be this LPKF machine in our lab. There is nobody teach me how to do it, but I just watch video on YouTube and read the menu. I figure out how to make an antenna in 2 weeks, and I was able to make a very beautiful antenna. I can actually show you that. So this antenna is a rectangular patch antenna, resonate at 2.4 gigahertz. I made this. And to test this, you have to connect this to a VNA, and you need a soldering with a coaxial cable. So why wireless? This is a long story, but when I decided to start my master, I was trying to see which field would be the field for me to do research on, right? I tried AI, I tried computer vision, LLM, but in the end, I feel wireless have a lot of correlation to the physics and to the real world. I feel like anything that I can touch, that I can sense, that I can feel, would in the long term, it can give me more motivation. So I always aim to become the expert in wireless communications. And I also I think a PhD in the long term, it's something that cannot be or hard to be replaced by AI. While economy, NVIDIA or any economy trend often encourage chasing what's popular. I believe we need to go to the uncharted territory. We need to, instead of competing with other people in the very crowded place, we need to find our own way and become the expert in that in that route. Especially the electromagnetic wave, because there's just so many things we can study from, and from fundamental physics to the real world applications and systems. I just want to be in this field. And I've also published my own papers, so I have more motivation to publish more paper. And yeah, I just feel very positive about the future in wireless. And we also know there's Starlinks, there's satellites, the network and the wireless will always be the future of the industry, computer science. And I also think a PhD student should have very high standard of moral and mental and physical standard. I think I'm able to withstand high pressure and remain robust. And I also believe that a PhD student should have the ability to deep work for 4-5 hours per day. And also a very good physical and mental is a foundation. If you are smart enough, you know in order to complete all the academic work, the physical strengths and the mental strengths, they are the base. If you don't have those, you can't do those. So if I see a PhD student, they are only good at academic, I don't think that's a sustainable. So I believe in long-term vision, kind of like Warren Buffett, but with my own version. I think we need to treat physical and mental health as a high priority, and less dopamine driven, but more calm and deep work. And here are my list of my reference. Dr. Shubhendu Bawaj, he is my current advisor at University of Nebraska-Lincoln, and Dr. Chun Yi and Dr. Shen Wei, they are my reference as well. And Mr. Dan Chartier, he was my manager at Hancock Software. And my friends and my co-worker at school, Brandon Guerin, Haider Adakel, Hua Chen Chan, they are all my reference. Lastly, something trivial. What do I believe in? I think the word is always tough, but I think it is our responsibility to pull ourselves out of the swamp. Regardless what happened in this world, we always need to be strong on our own. And I like to focus on, I know this is a cliche, everybody will talk about this. Focus on control the controllable, don't care about the uncontrollable. But what I think is very important is that you need to recharge yourself. You use your energy in emotion and physical, and then you recharge yourself, you do it again. And by all those work, you can become a better person. And I also believe that you might have a moment where you don't have a good luck, like what I did at Purdue, right? Not what I did at Purdue, what Purdue did to me. But I will never think those as something unlucky. I just think about putting into more work, so they will follow a linear trend. Also, I believe the world is deeply interconnected. We all know the Brown University shooting, right? Therefore, I strive to treat other people well, remain humble, and act with kindness. I think that is a really important thing to do. Lastly, when adversity arises, I chose to face it directly and fight. I never shy away from challenges. I know I may be scared at the first, but in the end, I always stand up and fight. Thanks for watching.